Man, this hurts. Sly Stone, one of the most influential and groundbreaking musicians of the late 60s and early 70s, who smashed the boundaries of rock, pop, funk, soul, has died at the age of 82. I don't know where we would be without Sly Stone. I don't think we wouldn't have a Princeton Revolution without Sly Stone. I don't know if we would have had a Rick James without Sly Stone. Sly Stone, when we talk about the GOATs, a lot of times, it's Michael Jackson, Prince, and then it opens up to Marvin Gaye, James Brown, Stevie Wonder. But Sly Stone's name hardly ever comes up, and it should. Most of the 60s, especially early 60s to mid 60s, it was like Motown, James Brown, then a little bit later Stax. But there was 1966 and 1967. There was two artists that popped up that charted the course that would lead into the 70s. The guy that popped up in 1967 was Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix was a black man who basically was one of the greatest, if not the greatest, rock guitarists ever. And you would hear that in Parliament Funkadelic. You would hear that with Ernie Isley and the Isley Brothers. You would hear that in Prince. You would hear that in Thin Lizzy. Rick James didn't play rock guitar. He had a rock persona. And that's what Jimi Hendrix gave. Sly was the funk bridge between James Brown and what we would see with Funkadelic, Isaac Hayes, very, very white. Anything that was funky in the 70s, Sly was that bridge. Sly came out of Vallejo, California, with his band Sly and the Family Stone. His real name is Sylvester Stewart. Sly Stone is so important because it was a multicultural band, which wasn't seen before outside of Hendrix. But he was doing his stuff overseas. It was a multi-gender band. Cynthia Robinson on the trumpet. Sly's sister was in the band with him. And even though Sly had gospel influences, and he had rock influences, and he had soul influences, they had their own unique style and own unique sound. They brought in psychedelica. And a lot of it is probably because they were out in the Bay, where you had all these different sounds and all these different types of people out there, out in California. And I think that informed Sly and the Family Stone. They made songs like Stand, Family Affair. My favorite Sly song of all time is Everybody is a Star. That song's so great because you had different people in the band singing lead. You had Larry Graham, who later would play with Prince, on bass. He was on it. And you listen, it's a very inspirational song. It's a very moving song. It's a very funky song. It's a very soulful song. It's somewhat gospelist in the same way. It's almost like new gospel in the same way. You feel so much better when you hear that song. And then the flip side, the B side of that song was Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself Again. Can you imagine the A side is Everybody is a Star and the B side is Thank You? How great is Sly? But then, Sly fell into some issues. He had some addiction issues. He had some mental health issues. He became a recluse later. But one of the things that I read was one of the things that was an issue for Sly was pressure. Like that late 60s Sly and the Family Stone group with him as the leader was revolutionary. And the ability to keep on making classic anthems like that was probably a lot of pressure on Sly. And when we look at something like Stevie Wonder, and we look at Talking Book and Innovations and songs like Key of Life, we almost take it for granted. Well, you just go into the studio and just pump this stuff out. And it's actually not that easy. Like D'Angelo, Brown Sugar was great. Voodoo was good. Some people like Voodoo better, but Brown Sugar was great, but D'Angelo's never really topped Brown Sugar. Miseducation and Lauryn Hill, Lauren is yet to even top that album. She's made stuff off and on since then, but nothing's topped Miseducation. It's hard. It's hard to keep on topping greatness. So when we see like Michael Jackson and Prince and Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye, that's almost like rare. So yeah, if you're an artist like Sly, and a lot of people like this, no matter if it's rock, country, hip hop, it's hard when people keep on expecting you to be great when maybe you made your greatest stuff in the first few albums. So, that really affected Sly as well. So he turned to a recluse. And I have a quick story before I go. 1987 rolls around. I'm in school. Um, Jesse Johnson, from the time, he had his debut album, great debut album. Um, and he had a second album coming out. And Sly Stone was on a song called Crazy, which was great, right? And I got into this debate with this dude because Keith Sweat had I Want Her out. And he said, hey, man, which album you think at the end of the year would be the bigger album? Jesse Johnson's album or Keith Sweat? And I was like, listen, Keith Sweat is cool because Keith Sweat's album hadn't come out yet. I was like, I like I Want Her, but I don't think it's better than Jesse Johnson. Like Jesse Johnson, that's that whole Minneapolis thing. Well, I was wrong. I love Jesse Johnson, especially that first debut album. But even though Crazy was great, and that Shockadelica album that Jesse made was great, Make It Last Forever is like one of the preeminent R&B albums ever. So I forgot who that brother was that I debated that. But I'm sorry, dude. I was totally wrong. But it was good to see Sly back. But then after Crazy, Sly disappeared again. And if you want to know more about Sly Stone, Questlove did a documentary that came out earlier this year. I think it's on Hulu, Disney Plus. It's called Sly Lives. So go check that out. Go on YouTube, go on TikTok, go on Spotify, go anywhere where you love to stream music and just say, give me Sly Stone's greatest hits. Or just type in, what's Sly Stone's 5 greatest songs? Now, you might say to yourself, well, I don't know any Sly Stone songs. Yes, you do. Because Sly was heavily sampled. If you don't know his songs, you've heard the sample. So rest in peace, Sly Stone. One last thing too, man. I'm looking at Sly right now with this cool get up. I miss dudes who look like him. I miss dudes who look like Rick James. I miss dudes who just look like some regular brothers just creating great R&B. We don't have that today, man. Listen, man, everybody can't look like Chris Brown. Everybody, even like Michael Jackson was good looking, Prince was good looking, Usher is a good looking guy. Like, I just miss average dudes, man, who just look like me, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, but they were R&B and music geniuses. How many people have we lost in the last 20 years who were just some average dudes who are music geniuses, but because they don't look like matinee idols, because they don't like dudes that women want to sleep with, they don't get signed. Oh, we could have another Sly Stone. Rest in peace, Sly. You will be missed.